Using only a pile of wood, you built a temple on a 60-meter-high cliff that has stood for 1,000 years without falling. How was this done? At first, you only wanted to build a small temple deep in the mountains to pray for you and your brother to gain promotion and wealth. But during the rainy season, the river would rise, and the small temple was washed away year after year. Then you cleverly realized that water flows downward. So if you built the temple higher up, wouldn't it be safe? Just then, you looked up and saw a protruding natural rock ledge 60 meters above the ground, perfect for building a house. But when you actually began construction, you discovered the ledge was too small to hold even one room. Worse still, above it were loose rocks that could fall at the slightest disturbance. You did not give up. Since the natural ledge would not work, you decided to create one yourself. You found a relatively flat cliff face and chiseled a row of straight holes into it, each 2 to 3 meters deep. Then you drove thick wooden beams firmly into the holes and laid planks across them. A suspended platform was completed, but soon after it was built, the platform began to tilt and collapse. This was because mountain vibrations and people walking on it prevented the beams from anchoring firmly in the rock. Over time, exposure to wind and rain caused the beams to absorb moisture and rot, eventually breaking. So to build a more stable platform, you first obtained the hardest local ironwood. You soaked the beams in tung oil for a full 60 days, then took them out to dry. After this treatment, the beams became waterproof, decay-resistant, and tougher. Once the beams were ready, you reworked the holes you had chiseled earlier, enlarging the inner part so it was wider inside and narrower outside. Then came the key step. You carved a notch at one end of each treated beam and inserted a specially made wooden wedge. Finally, you hammered them together into the holes. When the wedge reached the deepest part of the hole, it forced the beam to expand, like an expansion bolt, locking it tightly into the cliff wall so it could never be pulled out. You vividly named it Juehu Sun. After laying planks across the horizontal beams again, you obtained an extremely sturdy, suspended platform. In this way, your small temple could stand steadily on it, no longer afraid of being washed away. Later, you felt the small temple was too simple, so using the same method you extended 2 more levels upward. With ingenious mortise and tenon joints, you drove piles, erected columns, set beams, and laid boards, allowing magnificent halls to rise from the cliff. Although the structure was already strong enough, you still felt it did not look safe. So you had another idea. You added 27 supporting columns beneath the beams, letting them lightly touch the ground. This reassured onlookers and helped share some of the pressure during earthquakes, making the building even more stable. In addition, to keep out rainwater and slow the decay of the beams, you regularly brushed them with tung oil. In this way, without using a single iron nail, you made this temple hang on the cliff for 1,500 years. Congratulations! You invented the Hanging Temple of Datong, Shangxi. It is not only a temple, but also an eternal carving of ancient wisdom and courage.